So today we are taking an enormous leap across a few seemingly unrelated sources.
It's a big jump.
It really is. We're blending relationship philosophy, Hollywood history, the power of reinvention, and, believe it or not, corporate legal documents.
And you might be asking, why?
Exactly. Because all of these fields, even though they seem so different, are all wrestling with the same core problem: the negotiation of identity.
Yeah, we're diving into how we define, control, and sometimes just completely lose control of who we are.
Whether that's in a relationship, under the glare of global fame, or, buried in the fine print of a privacy policy.
And our mission for you, the listener, is really to pull out the universal rules that govern that struggle. We're tracing this tension between autonomy, that need to be yourself, to be separate, and vulnerability.
Which is that need to be seen and known and connected.
Exactly. So we'll follow this thread from the therapist Esther Perel through these incredible stories of Marilyn Monroe and Tracy Lords, and then all the way down to the Google privacy policy.
It's all about where we draw the boundaries and what happens when they just collapse.
So let's start with Esther Perel. Her work really frames this intense vulnerability we feel in modern relationships.
Oh, absolutely. She just lays bare the crushing burden we put on one single partner today.
She does, and it's a burden that historically was never meant for one person. Think about this quote she has.
Okay.
Today, we turn to one person to provide what an entire village once did: a sense of grounding, meaning, and continuity. And then she asks, is it any wonder that so many relationships crumble under the weight of it all?
That's a staggering weight of expectation. We want our partner to be our soulmate, co-parent, therapist, best friend, all of it.
Everything. The economic partner, the spiritual anchor. It reframes modern marriage as this almost impossible task.
And Perel says for a relationship to even survive that, it has to rest on two pillars that sound like they contradict each other: surrender and autonomy.
Right. You need the togetherness, the surrender, but you absolutely have to hold on to your own separateness, your autonomy.
And that autonomy part is what keeps things going. It's actually the fuel for desire, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. If you totally merge with your partner, you lose that magnetism. Perel says it's hard to feel attracted to someone who has abandoned her sense of autonomy.
You can't expect your partner to be your entire world. It just flattens everything.
So how do you keep that desire alive? It sounds like you need to, maintain a little bit of mystery.
Exactly. She calls it erotic intelligence.
And it's all about creating distance and then, as she puts it, bringing that space to life.
You give the imagination some room to breathe.
Yeah, and you accept that our loved ones are forever elusive. And that realization, she says, should jolt you out of complacency. It forces you to keep growing.
Because you never really want to start with. And that's what keeps you back.
Right, because you think you know everything.
Before we move on, there's a communication piece here. When that village pressure gets too high, communication breaks down. Perel has that great line: behind every criticism is a veiled wish.
Which is such a beautiful way to say, just state what you want instead of complaining about what you don't have. But we often do the opposite. We do this thing called kitchen sinking.
Huh? That is a great term. What does that look like?
Well, it's when a fight about, say, the dirty dishes from tonight somehow becomes about everything bad that's happened in the last 5 years.
You throw everything but the kitchen sink into the argument.
You got it. It's just selective perception piled on more selective perception. It's great for causing damage, terrible for actually solving the problem.
Yeah, and that idea, selective perception and asking one person to be your whole village, that is a perfect transition
to what happens when the village isn't just one person, but the entire world.
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
She lived right at the center of that external expectation, just fighting to reclaim some autonomy over personas she didn't even create.
She is the tragic archetype of this. Her breathy voice, the whole dumb blonde demeanor. It wasn't her. It was a carefully constructed act.
And the biggest myth was that she was dumb.
Right. Sources show she was, and I'm quoting here, very smart indeed and very tough just to navigate that brutal Hollywood system in the 50s.
She knew her public image wasn't her own. It was a commodity. But how did she fight back? The studios were so powerful.
She fought back with corporate resistance. In 1954, she wanted better roles, better pay, and she just refused to make certain films.
And she went to New York and founded her own production company.
Marilyn Monroe Productions, MMP. And that wasn't just a business move. It was this huge act of defiance, a performance of autonomy.
She was saying, if you won't let me be who I want to be, I'll hire myself.
And it worked. It forced the system's hand. She got a new contract with Fox that gave her the right to choose her projects, her directors, her cinematographers.
That level of control was just unheard of for an actress back then.
But we all know the personal cost was immense. Her reputation for being difficult on set, the lateness, the missed lines that all came from this internal war.
Low self-esteem, terrible stage fright, perfectionism.
And self-medication, yeah. She was literally being crushed by the weight of the global village. It's the highest stakes version of what Perel was talking about.
You can't ask one person to carry the desires of millions.
You just can't. So Monroe struggled with a fixed persona. Now let's talk about someone who fought to shed a persona and build a new one.
Tracy Lords. Her story is it's a radical reinvention born from chaos.
Absolutely. Born Nora Louise Kuzma, she drops out of high school, enters the adult film industry using deeply deceptive methods.
She used stolen documents, right? To get a fake driver's license that said she was of legal age.
A fake license and passport, yeah, under a whole other alias. This let her operate in the industry for nearly 2 years. The stakes were incredibly high.
And then the whole thing just blew up in 1986. She was exposed as having been a minor. The FBI got involved.
And it was one of the biggest scandals in the industry's history. It cost them millions to pull all the material.
But what's fascinating from this identity negotiation angle is the legal side. The producers who were charged.
They got off. They argued they had a reasonable belief she was over 18 because she showed them a government-issued ID.
Even though it was fake.
Right. Her external, performed identity was so convincing it basically overrode common sense.
So after all that, the path forward wasn't to hide. It was to claim a new self.
Exactly. She committed to shedding that past. She went to the Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute, studied method acting.
The ultimate dedication to mastering performance.
And she successfully pivoted to mainstream roles, like in John Waters' Crybaby, and later in serious dramatic films. And then she did the most important thing.
She legally changed her name.
To Tracy Elizabeth Lords.
That's the ultimate act of autonomy, isn't it? Owning the name associated with the scandal and basically neutralizing its power by just embracing it.
She said, I found you can run, but you cannot hide. So she took the power back. She said, this name is mine, and I get to define what it means now.
So we've seen this fight for autonomy in relationships on the celebrity stage. But if Monroe and Lords fought for their professional narratives, today we are all negotiating control over our minute-by-minute digital identity.
And often without even thinking about it, which brings us to the Google privacy policy.
The governing document of our digital selves.
I mean, the sheer volume of data they collect is staggering. It starts with your browser, your device identifiers, cookies, IP address, even when you're not signed in.
But when you are signed in, it's just exponential. They collect what they call activity information.
Which is basically a full diary of your digital life. Every search term, every YouTube video, every ad you interact with, your voice searches, your purchase history.
It builds this incredibly detailed shadow version of you, an algorithmic you.
And the location data alone is so intense. GPS, Wi-Fi access points, cell towers, and even the places you label home or work. It's a real-time map of your routine.
And Google says the goal of all this is to build better services, which sounds nice.
But the real goal is hyper-personalization for ads.
Right. If you search for mountain bikes on a Tuesday,
by Thursday, you're seeing ads for sports equipment on YouTube. It's a closed loop. They also use it for security, of course, detecting fraud, things like that.
So it serves their interests and, to some extent, our interests in security. But what about autonomy? How much control do we actually have?
The controls are there. But you have to be vigilant. You can go into your activity controls and change settings for web and app activity for your YouTube history.
But the key is that the default setting is total surrender.
The default is we collect all of it. Autonomy requires you to actively go in, understand the settings, and change them.
And what about how long they keep it?
It varies. You can delete stuff you create, like photos, but other things, like advertising data, get anonymized after a while. But some data, like how often you use their products, they keep until you delete your entire account.
So managing your digital self is a permanent, ongoing negotiation.
It's a constant fight to maintain some separateness in a system built for total togetherness. So to bring it all together, the common thread here across everything is this attempt to reconcile our internal identity, our autonomy, our desires with all these external demands.
From a partner, from society, from a tech company.
Perel gave us the blueprint for love. Monroe and Lords showed us the high-stakes world of revising a public self. And Google tool shows us how that same tension plays out constantly, visibly, online.
We started with kitchen sinking, how selective perception can damage a relationship. And we saw how Marilyn's persona was built entirely on the public's selective perception.
Right.
But today, with all this data collection, we're way beyond selective perception. We're in an age of radical abundance of data. So here's the final question. Does that abundance make us truly known, or just
That's the question, isn't it? Does being perfectly categorized by an algorithm mean you've achieved connection? Or have you just traded your autonomy for convenience? It makes you wonder, what parts of your identity are still truly elusive, even to the digital village that's always watching?
Something for you to think about the next time your phone suggests a place you were just thinking about going. That's it.